Hello everyone, my name is Rani Kudal. I'm an international lifestyle coach and also an NLP practitioner, amongst other things. So today I'm going to jump right into the topic that I want to speak to you about, and that's about understanding your partner and also yourself, and the things that are important to them and also yourself. The reason that I've decided to take this one today is because recently, this particular week, I've had a lot of clients and friends having some conflict issues with their partners, and I thought this may be useful for everyone else. The very first thing that you need to understand are what values are. Now, values are just what's important to you and what's important to your partner. Very, very basic, very simple. But when you look at the values, or you look at the things that you think are valuable to you, or the things that are important in your life, they may be completely different to what your actual true values are. So perhaps when you're writing down your values, your top 5 values, you might say truth, honesty, family, love, commitment. But then when you actually assess the things that are the things that you spend most of your money on, the things that you spend most of your energy doing, what you see in your personal space around you, and what you spend your time doing, those are actually your true values. So the things that are really important to you, again, are the things that you will spend most of your money on, most of your energy doing, will be mostly around in your personal space, that will be unique to you, and things that you spend most of your time doing and talking about. Those are your real values. Now, the first step is to obviously understand yourself. Understand what your true values are. They might be quite surprising to you. There's nothing wrong with them, there's nothing right with them, but just understand yourself and understand what those values are. The second step is to understand what are important things for your partner, and what better way than just to say what things are important to you. Now, again, you might get a superficial level of response where somebody's giving the values that they hope that they have in their life. However, pay attention to the things that they spend their money on, their energy doing, talking about, what's around in their personal space that's unique to them, and what they spend their time doing. So that's the first step. The next thing is to understand that everyone might have similar values, or even a few people might have similar values, but you don't have to have the same values in order to have a successful relationship. You just need to understand that your values are yours and respect another person's values. Within values, you also have beliefs. So, for example, as a personal trainer as well, I have beliefs under the value of health. Health is a very big value of mine. However, my beliefs under that might be, in order to be healthy, you need to eat well 75% of the time, or you need to train 4 times a day. 4 times a week. 4 times a day is extreme. Or, you need to stay within a BMI of 20 to 25 for a woman. However, another personal trainer may believe that in order to be healthy, you've got to eat well 98% of the time, or you've got to train 6 hours, in a week. Or perhaps they might feel that your body fat should be 7% in order to be very healthy. People have different beliefs. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong. Just understand that people have different beliefs, even though they might have similar values. The reason I'm talking about this is because the conflict of beliefs, or the difference in belief, is always going to be there. We all have our different beliefs, which we've got from when we were children, from when we were, conditioned by society, our family. We get them from everywhere. But the main thing is that these conflicts, or not respecting each other's beliefs, are what causes wars. I mean, people have died for many, many years, ever since human existence, because of the conflict of these beliefs and values, and not understanding those and respecting those in your fellow person, your partner, whether that be within your family, your parents, your children, anywhere, even at work. So what do we do? How do we do this? Well, the first thing is understand yourself. So we've already talked about how you can become more aware of that. And second of all, we're not going to get too spiritual here, because spiritually they say that we are all one and we are all connected and we're all reflections of one another. But the second thing is to understand and respect that when somebody's values or beliefs are challenged or in conflict with yours, especially when you're in a personal relationship or in a conflict situation, they may have a preemptive strike. They might exercise an attack on you, and that is their ego. That's not them. So your beliefs and your values also exist on an egoic level. There are spiritual and actually your true values, but we're not going to be speaking about them right now. The reason that there are a lot of broken marriages and arguments and relationships that fail even before they start is because when people feel that their beliefs have been challenged or not respected, they may behave badly. And that could be, being abusive verbally, physically, emotionally, withdrawing from a person, just generally being hurtful because they feel hurt. And there's an external attack, but equally dangerous, in my experience, is when people actually internally attack themselves. And that can cause depression and even thoughts of suicide. So this is a very interesting and actually important topic for you to master, and I would encourage you to practice that. So what do you do if you find yourself in a situation where you feel misunderstood or you feel that someone isn't listening to you? Well, the very first point in communication, the most important point, is to actually listen and to be, in that space of actually listening to the other person. It's only to get information, and mainly what you will realize when you're listening, really, really listening to someone, are things that are important to them. Now, obviously that will be partly their ego as well, but send compassion and love and acceptance for that, because for them that's their reality. The second thing is to take ownership. If someone feels, if you feel that they're not listening to you, it's your responsibility to communicate clearly. So communication, whether that be from you to your partner or your partner to you or whoever you're communicating with, is 100% your responsibility. Now, they also have 100% responsibility. So if a conflict arises and you would like to resolve it, a useful exercise is for both of you to sit down with 2 pieces of paper and write on there the things that are important to yourselves and what needs they at this stage feel that are not being met for them. Okay, so the first stage is to write down the things that are important to them or to you, and to then outline what feels as if it's not being met right now. The second thing to be aware of, this is for yourself and for your partner, but not only in the relationship but also for your personal awareness, is when you feel like you're being misunderstood or being attacked, what is it that you do? What is your bad behavior? Give it a label. So, a previous bad behavior of mine would be just to sulk or, to walk out of a room. So think of your particular bad behavior, and it could be anything. It could be, being verbally abusive or withdrawing your affection or whatever it is. So just write that down as your second stage. Okay. The third thing you need to write is, what is it that you need? What specifically do you need? It's not just women that are accused of being mind readers, like men should be able to read your mind and know what you need. It's the other way around. In my experience, I've had a lot of male clients as well who don't articulate what it is that they actually need. Okay. So with those 3 things established, you can have a conversation with your partner. In my experience, people will give you what you need, And I'm talking about strangers, I'm talking about almost anyone, if they know what you need. And this is the most important thing, if they are able to give that to you. Now, the reason I say that if they are able to give that to you is because the person has to make sure it's not in direct conflict of their own values. If they give you something that is in direct conflict with their own values, they will cause a lot of unrest within themselves. Then eventually they'll become miserable and resentful. And perhaps you've done that in the past, where you've done something for someone else and you actually didn't really feel like doing it, or it felt really wrong to you, and yet you went ahead and did it anyway. But ultimately, I'm betting that it didn't turn out very well. Now you've shared the 3 stages before and you've told the person what you need, you would also give them a final thing on the piece of paper of what you would like, as what you want out of the circumstance that you're in. What would be your ideal outcome to this conflict? So be clear on that and give that piece of paper, or whether it be in the form of an email or however you wish to do this, to your partner, and then just leave it with that person for a period of time, whether that be an hour or a day, whatever is suitable for you. Okay. This is when you'll get the most deeper understanding of the other person, but also of yourself. And this isn't definitive. I mean, you can go back and forth, and you can, use this as a channel of communication. Sometimes I find that when people are really in conflict and they find that their values are being challenged or their beliefs are being disrespected, that they are so much on the attack that they're not actually able to really listen and really absorb what the other person needs. If you do get to a point where you've seen your partner's list and you feel that you really cannot meet that person's needs, and it's because your values are conflict, or for whatever the reasons are, you'll be in a completely different space to resolve what you need to resolve. Even if at the end of that discussion you decide to part ways, or you decide to agree to disagree, you're coming from a completely different space. So I hope that today has been helpful for you. This is just one of the techniques that I would suggest for conflict resolution and just getting to know yourself and your partner a lot better. There are so many other ways, but if anyone's interested, just put a chat on the YouTube and I'll upload some more. I hope that for today this has been useful. Thanks.